Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to Knuckle Game Podcast, where today we break down one of the biggest stories in combat sports. Today's episode is all about one of the biggest names the sport has ever produced. That's right, I said it. One of the biggest names the sport has ever produced, Conor McGregor. Love him or hate him, there's no denying what he's done for mixed martial arts. He changed the fighters' pay. He changed promotion. He changed trash talk. He changed business, the whole business of MMA. But after years away from the Octagon, one question remains. Can Conor McGregor still be Conor McGregor? I don't know. We have to tune in to see. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to look at his last three fights, his historic boxing match with Floyd Mayweather, the hundreds of millions of dollars he's earned, proper number 12, his businesses, his family, the controversies surrounding him, and whether or not the lifestyle that he's lived outside the cage could finally catch up with him. But before we get into that, I'd like to say that this episode is proudly sponsored by Juggernaut Snacks. That's right, y'all. Juggernaut Snacks Knuckle Sandwich. Built for fighters, built for the grind, built for anyone chasing greatness. Visit juggernautsnacks.com and pre-order your knuckle sandwich today. Okay, y'all, let's jump right into it. The rise of the notorious. The rise of the notorious. Few athletes have ever captured the world's attention like Conor McGregor. Former plumber, welfare checks in Ireland. Then, a two-division UFC champion. He predicted knockouts. He backed them up. I mean, he became the face of the UFC. Every arena sold out. Every pay-per-view shattered records. I mean, at one point, Conor McGregor wasn't simply the biggest MMA fighter. He was one of the biggest athletes on earth. But success changes people. Money changes people. The question is, did it change the fighter? His last three fights in the UFC, we go to Dustin Poirier 2, UFC 257, January 2021. Conor returned after more than a year away. Many expected vintage Conor McGregor. Instead, Dustin Poirier completely changed the game. Repeated calf kicks slowed Conor's movement. His boxing rhythm disappeared. For the first time in years, Conor looked uncomfortable. Poirier stopped him by second round, TKO. It was Conor's first knockout loss in MMA. The aura of invincibility disappeared. Now let's go to Dustin Poirier 3, the trilogy. Conor entered the cage, he entered angry. The trash talk had reached a whole nother level. The fight began at, a crazy pace. Conor attacked aggressively. Poirier answered everything. Near the end of the first round, Conor stepped backwards and snapped his leg. Man, that gruesome injury ended the fight. It wasn't the ending that everybody wanted. But since that moment, Conor has never fought in the Octagon. Now, let's go before those two losses. Before those two losses, he fought Donald Cowboy Cerrone, right? That 2000 UFC 246, okay? Before those losses, there was Cowboy Cerrone's 40-second shoulder strikes, head kick, punches, finish. I mean, that was vintage Conor. Fast, explosive, precise. I mean, many believed the old Conor had returned. Unfortunately, that version never appeared again. Now let's move to the fight that he had with Floyd Mayweather, 2017. Conor crossed over into boxing. They had a bright idea. Him and Dana White and Floyd came together and said, yo, let's Let's get this money. That's basically what it was, a money grab. And they decided to fight. So Conor crossed over into boxing. He faced the undefeated Floyd Mayweather. I mean, Floyd is one of the greatest defensive boxers ever. And most critics believed that Conor didn't have a chance. Instead, he won rounds early. He remained competitive. Eventually, Floyd's experience took over. But, I mean, he stopped Conor in the 10th round. But financially, nobody lost. Everybody won. I mean, reports estimate that Conor earned well over $100 million from that single event through purses, pay-per-view points, endorsements. One night, 9 figures. That's some serious money. I mean, that fight permanently changed athlete crossover events. Without it, would we have Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Francis Ngannou boxing? Many of these mega events may have never happened if that event between McGregor and Mayweather didn't happen. So, I mean, Conor is definitely, he's made a lot of money, man. He made a name for himself, the biggest name for himself in MMA or in sports at one time, and hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, let's talk about his business empire. Conor realized something. He wasn't a dumb guy by any stretch of the imagination. Conor was smart. I think he was really calculating. He knew that he wanted to make a change in his life. He wanted to shift. And he was willing to put his life on the line to change it. And I really believe that that's what made him the notorious one. When you go back and you look at some of the old footage of those weigh-ins, Conor at 145, Conor at 155, when he was just like really thin. And I mean, the guy looked like a psycho. I mean, he was really lost in being Conor McGregor. I guess at some point before he decided to do MMA, or when he decided he was going to be the champion and take it to the next level, that he was willing to die in the cage, because he really appeared to have that type of energy that I'm coming here to fight and I'm going to give it my all. And if I have to die in the cage tonight, that's what it's going to be. And I guess that's what we loved about him. That's what we enjoyed. If you want to go back to the Roman days, gladiator days, I would think that was where the fans found the most pleasure, when you had a gladiator or a warrior who was willing to die on that battlefield. And it shows you how warped the human mind is. But I digress. So let's move on. Conor realized something really, really early in the game, right? He realized that fighting had an expiration date, and that business didn't. His proper number 12 Irish whiskey became an enormous success. I mean, in 2021, Conor and his partners reportedly sold the majority ownership for proper number 12 for approximately $600 million, with Conor reportedly receiving a substantial payout through his ownership stake. That changed everything. Beyond whiskey, his investments in Black Forge Inn, Forge Irish stock, Title Sport recovery products, McGregor Fast Fitness programs, his fashion partnerships, his real estate, his media appearances. I mean, reports estimate his career earnings now exceed hundreds of millions of dollars. A little kid, plumber kid on welfare from Ireland. Whoever thought? Whoever thought? So I guess that's the power of self-belief, really believing in yourself and saying, I'm willing to lay it all on the line to go and get mine, because that's what it seems like the decision Conor made a long time ago. But now He's living a lifestyle that few athletes will ever experience. I mean, luxury yachts, private jets, Lamborghinis, massive mansions, designer clothing, global celebrity status. He's financially set. I mean, he's already won. I mean, what else is there to gain from life? He's already won. I mean, he has everything. He's excelled in his profession. He's excelled in business. Uh, he's excelled in his relationships. Yeah, let's talk about his relationships because Conor, you know, you see him as a madman, but Conor has um, has always been serious about his family. You know what I mean? I mean, away from the cameras, Conor has been with his longtime partner, D. Devlin, for many years. And together they've built a family with 4 children. And by all public accounts, the family remains an important part of his life, despite his demanding schedule and his worldwide fame. So kudos for you, because I know it's hard to balance all of that, man. But yet, his fame, his fame, it also brings constant attention. Every public appearance becomes news. Um, every party becomes a headline. Every photograph becomes a discussion. I mean, that's the price that you pay for superstardom, I guess, man. You know, that's the price you pay for it, man. It's not for the weak, man. I tell you that. Superstardom is not for the weak, man. Now let's talk about how he's handled it all. You know, all the success, the money, you know, the controversies. I mean, no conversation about Conor is complete without addressing, some of the controversies. Over the years, he's faced legal issues. I mean, civil disputes, multiple public incidents. I mean, that have damaged his public image. But I say, this is how I feel about fighters and their public image. As long as you're not killing anybody and graping and, doing, really horrific crimes and behaviors. I mean, who expects for a prize fighter, someone who fights on the level that these guys fight? These guys are warriors. Who expects them to be choir boys too? I mean, I think that's kind of unfair. You asking, you want the best of your warrior, but you also want him to be, a choir boy too. I mean, it doesn't work that way, man. These guys got to dig deep and summons, that will and that drive from some dark places, man. And to turn around and say, well, yeah, I like him as an athlete, but outside the cage, nobody's perfect. Let's look at your life outside the cage and see, before you can start judging someone else, man, hold a mirror up to yourself, man. I mean, there's enough to judge there, but I digress. Let me move forward. So here we go. There's also been a lot of widespread about and speculation, online speculation regarding his recreational drug use and allegations that he's used performance enhancement drugs. But it's important to separate speculation from established fact. I mean, it seems like the world is full of haters, and when you start competing and on a high level, or when you start outperforming other people or excelling in life, there's always going to be someone that has something bad to say. No facts, but people will throw nasty things out there to try to besmirch your name or try to diminish your credibility or your value. But as far as Karn is concerned, there has been allegations and questions about recreational drug use and public allegations about uh, performance enhancement drugs. But like I said, it's important to separate speculation from established facts. McGregor has never been publicly sanctioned by the UFC for a failed drug test. Never. And public allegations are not the same as proven violations. So, still, many fans have questions, and many fans have questioned his noticeably larger physique during his recovery from his broken leg. But whether those change, whether those changes will help or hurt, I think remains unknown. So the only thing that settles those questions is what happens inside the Octagon on July 11th. That's it in a nutshell. But let's ask the question, why is Conor returning? Why return now? Why? Here's the biggest question. Why come back? It isn't money. He already has more wealth than most athletes could imagine. So why? Legacy? Competitors chase challenges, but I noticed that champions struggle with walking away. Conor knows every fight now shapes how history remembers him. If he wins, people begin talking about another title run, super fights become possible. The UFC's biggest attraction returns. The McGregor business machine explodes once again. But if he loses, the conversation changes dramatically. Fans begin asking if it's finally over. Sponsors become more cautious. The title dream likely disappears. Future fights become entertainment events rather than championship pursuits. Everything rides on this comeback. So here's my final prediction. The biggest concern isn't skill. Conor has always had elite timing, elite power, elite confidence. The biggest question is activity. He's been away for competition for 5, 6 years, going on 6 years. Man, there's no substitute for fighting, man. Training is different. Sparring is different. Nothing creates pressure like a live UFC fight. The luxury lifestyle, the business empire, the celebrity status, those things can slowly change an athlete, not physically, but mentally. The hunger, the obsession, the willingness to suffer. Can Conor still find that version of him? We'll find out when the cage door closes. If he does, then the sport changes overnight. And if he doesn't, we'll witness the closing of a chapter of one of the greatest careers MMA has ever seen. Regardless of what happens, Conor McGregor's impact on mixed martial arts is permanent. That's without a doubt. And I'd argue with anyone that would say otherwise. So on that note, I'm going to thank you guys for watching another episode of Knuckle Game Podcast. And why don't you guys drop me a message in the comment, man. Drop it in the comments. Who wins this fight? Can Conor become the champion again? Or has the sport finally passed him by? Leave your predictions in the comment. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the episode with another fight fan. And remember, this episode was proudly sponsored by Juggernaut Snacks, Knuckle Sandwich. And on that note, guys, I'm out. Peace.